Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I heard the press conference today with the Cleveland Browns welcoming in the new head coach, Kevin Stefanski. It was not that much different than any other Jimmy-Haslam press conference to announce a new coach, except that part where we learned that Haslam apparently does want to be briefed on game plans. I'd be surprised if any fans change their mind about the hire based on what they heard today, but I don't get the sense that a great amount of people are drinking the Kool-Aid as they've done in the recent past. And that's a good start. Bud Shaw is here. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. Bud Shaw from WKYC.com with us, and I've heard that press conference before. I don't know when and where.
This is one of those rare days when you can remember what you were doing on this day a year ago. Because this was the Freddie Kitchens press conference a year ago today. So
that, my friend, is funny.
In a sad way. In a sad way.
I'll do the jokes around here.
And there's already, listen, there's already people who were there today, saying with some good reason that, oh, you couldn't have had a more different press conference. Yes, that's absolutely true. But different, let's not confuse different with
better.
Better yet, until we see what happens on the field. This guy certainly came across very impressively, said a lot of the promising things that you would hope to hear. But I wrote for WKYC.com. I wrote about Paul DePodesta, and I basically said, Kevin Stefanski said some stuff, Jimmy-Haslam said some stuff. I'm not going to tell you what they said because you've heard it all before. Now let's go to Paul DePodesta.
So what did Paul DePodesta say?
Well, I think I had to laugh at this, Les, but it's telling in a way that he joined them in 2016. That's when they were making the revolutionary switch over to a sort of a guy who came from baseball. He had come right from the New York Mets, where he was the head of scouting or whatever he was doing.
I thought he was the head of determining how much popcorn should be put in each bag.
Well, that too, probably, but. So there was that feeling that, they were doing, it was the path less traveled when they did it in 2016. And 4 years later, Paul DePodesta meets with us in the locker room of the Browns locker room, and one of the first questions put to him in a nicer way, but basically in this way was, what is it that you do? So here we are 4 years later, and he had to laugh himself because I think there's been change there. There's been no great explanation of what the goal was other than to tear the roster down for 2 years. And I think a lot of people wondered, did DePodesta fall out of favor with the organization once Dorsey and Kitchens were hired? But he explained to us that while he is without a contract or in the final days of a contract, that after the GM search is complete, that he expects to be here, to sign on again and be here with with the Browns. So,
would it be too much to ask him if he's going to turn the franchise upside down, which I think he's done pretty much? Would it be unkind to ask him to? I know. I wish I could live in La Jolla. I get it. But would it be too unkind to ask him to be part of the franchise and show up in Berea once in a while?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because Haslam was asked that question. The way he phrased it was that Paul DePodesta is here more than he's there. And when DePodesta was asked about working remotely from home at a time when his voice, I think, is gaining volume in the organization, he said, well, that would be, my wife and kids would take issue to that description of me working too much remotely from home. He says that he made a determination a long time ago that his extended family's in the San Diego area, that he was going to raise his kids there, and that he would suffer the travel rigors back and forth. And he contends that he's been here every week since training camp. He's been in Cleveland. That's what he said.
It could
Now,
very well be.
I know for a fact that he travels to the Browns games during the season.
Right.
So, and the guys who go on the road, I haven't gone on the road with him for a few years now, say that he's always there also. So we know he's at least involved in the weekends. I don't know that if he comes here early when the games are being played at home. But he didn't, of course he's going to say it's no issue, and the Browns are going to say it's no issue.
I just wonder if he's here all the time, I'm wondering if he's not here all the time, if that gives him more power.
I don't know. It's a good question. I do think that, what I wrote today was that now that we know what he does, we also know for a fact that there's more accountability to what he's brought to this, or what his role in the organization right now, because this head coach, and he's going to be involved in. He says he is a process-oriented guy, so he'll set the process of hiring a head coach, of hiring a GM.
And let other people do it?
No, I mean, he's involved in it, but his thing is to keep everybody. Again, these are all terms that I'm sure people just roll their eyes at, but he's saying we set our vision for what this process is going to be, and I make sure that everybody stays on it.
All right, gotcha. I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about this for much of the show, but I know you want to talk a little baseball, at least in the beginning.
How about that, baseball?
Baseball at a time like this, in January.
Yeah,
well, the weather's calling for it.
There's good reason, Les. I mean, the Houston Astros will lose their manager and their general manager, and $5 million plus their #1 draft picks this year and next year in a cheating scandal.
Slap on the wrist.
That looks like a sledgehammer justice to some, not enough punishment for others like Les, which might be a sign that baseball got it right, although I'm sure Les will disagree. Commissioner Rob-Manfred warned teams in September 2017 about the use of video cameras to steal signs. Instant replay cameras positioned near the dugouts made that much easier to do since 2014. The Astros ignored the warning. The heavy punishment, if you believe that's what it is an acknowledgement that technology will only become more prevalent in baseball, not less. Those who think baseball didn't go far enough, that the Astros World Series title should be vacated, have a point. I've just never believed in reversing an outcome that played out on the field and that was the product of 1,000 other variables. Les is a baseball guy, so I'll be interested to hear what he has to say. But it's enough for me that the Astros title is tainted, despite what the owner wants to believe.
How do you feel about in the Hall of Fame where they have a room with all these steroid guys and whatever, and just says, okay, these guys did this, this, and this, and their numbers were accepted as highest batting average, highest home run total, whatever, but we want you to know they also did this. How do you feel about that?
Well, I've always argued that it should be a museum and not a shrine.
Right.
So we shouldn't whitewash what happened to these guys. I'm in favor of Pete Rose being in, but with a asterisk or whatever you want to call it at the bottom of his plaque that says banned from baseball for cheating,
right,
for gambling. Now, I'd ask you this question as a Cleveland guy. Should Gaylord Perry be in that wing then? I mean, where do you draw the line with a guy who clearly doctored the baseball and got away with it?
Just because he said he did.
Yeah, he admitted it.
I don't think he ever got caught.
So is that the standard then?
No, but it's like, I don't know. At what point, cheating, or not cheating, but stealing signs has been a product of baseball for a zillion years. And laughably, Joe Nossick from Euclid made a living stealing signs. He had a career stealing signs. So at what point, just because you're better at it, does that stop? Better at it meaning you used equipment or technology? Should be taken away from it or not taken away from it?
Well, I mean, I think everybody has the ability to use instant replay cameras. And once you're told that is off limits, you can't do it. Just like on an NFL sideline, you can't have a Bluetooth device in your ear. I think if you go ahead or you do it, or you videotape sidelines during football games when no one else is when your opponent is not doing it because that's the rule, then you should be punished for it.
I just wonder in the case of baseball, if you're stealing signs, and at what point is it illegal within the game?
Well,
I mean, Bob Feller didn't get laughed at, but Bob Feller had the equipment from the USS Alabama, which they used in the Cleveland Municipal Stadium scoreboard to pick out signs. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's gone above and beyond a guy sitting in a dugout and saying, hey, the third base coach just went to his nose for a fourth time. That means suicide squeeze. I don't know. You started off by saying that you thought this was light punishment. Now it sounds like you're defending if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. I just don't know at what point is it cheating or not cheating. Or is it ha-ha-ha part of the game?
Well, at one point, I think the Milwaukee Brewers were guilty of using the mascot to sit in center field. And when he saw... the Brewer? Well, yeah, when he saw a signal for a fastball coming, he wore white gloves and he clapped his hands, and the guys in the dugout knew what was coming, or the batter knew what was coming. This was a concerted effort to... stick a thumb in the eye of baseball. Once baseball said you cannot use instant replay cameras for video surveillance of what another team's doing pitch-wise. And these guys were going into that room and doing it. And then banging a trash can to let a guy know a curveball
And you got Alex Cora also, who was on both of he was in the front, coaching or managing both teams. Yeah. I mean, when a guy gets traded, for example, he knows what the other team is doing.
Well, that's how this came to light. Yeah. And I don't remember how the guy pronounces his name, that relief pitcher, Mike Fiers, Fires. He's the one who first brought it to the attention of the new team that he joined.
Right.
Telling them, hey, this is what the Astros are doing.
Yeah, and Trevor Bauer let everybody know about it.
Well, I think Bauer's argument was that they were using substances on the ball that allowed them to get better spin rates on the ball.
Right.
I don't know that he knew this, but certainly if they were cheating in one area, they were probably cheating in other areas.
Did you know the Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the last 6 months? People are winning at record numbers, and winning is happening all around the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game today. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine. New content posted each and every day. We're going to come back. We're going to meet Kevin Stefanski. Were you impressed by him or not?
Yeah, very impressive guy.
All right, back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues with Bud Shaw, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
First and foremost, success starts with people. And I know we'll talk a lot about culture, but it is absolutely about the people. And everybody knows the Harry Truman quote, "It's amazing what you can accomplish when no one cares who gets the credit." And that's what I believe we have in our building. We have great people. I know we're going to add to it. We'll hire a GM here in the next week or two, and we're going to add to this culture that we're building here, and we have the right people. And again, I just can't stress enough how excited I am to be just a part of it. If we're pulling in the same direction, we got a chance. And I think as we sit down and start bringing in some candidates and interviewing general manager candidates, it sounds simple, but let's all be on the same page. And let's all know that this thing is about a shared vision. It's not about what Kevin Stefanski wants for the Cleveland Browns. We have a vision of what this is going to look like moving forward, and it's a collective vision. And I think our players will understand from me that I am going to do everything in my power to put them in position to succeed. And as you play in this NFL, you may have adversity in a series, in a game, in a half, week to week, and we need to tackle that and be a resilient bunch. But it's not going to happen from flipping a switch or me saying something to them just in the moment. You have to start building that mentality, and that's what we'll be about this spring and summer. That's when we start to develop this, so that when those challenging times do arise, and they will, that our guys are ready to navigate those waters. You know, I'm looking for any edge we can get on game day, and certainly analytics I know is another buzzword out there, but we're looking to make informed decisions. So as a play caller, or whether it may be in player evaluation, information is power. So we like to have a lot of information that informs our decisions. So I think what our setup that we have, and meeting with the guys this morning was incredible. I think we're well on our way where we can provide impactful information to our coaches, to our personnel department that can really, again, help the product in terms of wins and losses.
All right, so can we assume now that it's okay to wear something other than orange and brown?
I think so, yeah. You can.
It matters?
Yes, you can wear an Ivy League suit and still matter. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't contrast the two guys anymore. You know, one guy looks like he walked off the cover of GQ, and the other guy prided himself on wearing an elf hat and a dog pound shirt or whatever, jacket.
Hey, how about this? How about Odell Beckham either did or didn't give money out after the game last night? Do you think it was Monopoly money?
I doubt it. If I was Odell Beckham, I wouldn't have Monopoly money on me.
No.
I'd have enough money that it looked like Monopoly money, but it'd be real.
Let's go to Santa Clara. We'll say hi to Bill. Bill, go ahead. You're on with Bud Shaw.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good. A couple things for Bud. It seems as though one thing that needs to happen pretty quickly is that our wide receivers need surgery. And they're putting it off right now, but I hope that the new management and the coach and everything is going to really tell them to get it done now. You know, don't wait until March or April or whatever. You know, do it now. So that's one thing. Also, and speaking of our wide receivers, one thing to look for, I think, in the OTAs and mini camps and in the well, especially those activities, is our wide receivers wearing their headphones when they're going out and catching footballs? Because this is, to me, is something I would not allow if I was the head coach.
Are you talking about before the game?
I'm talking about, in the OTAs, you know, you see Odell Beckham, he's wearing his the wireless headphones they wear, the music headphones.
Yeah, but during the pregame, they do it to get themselves into the mood, get into the rhythm.
Well, okay, pregame, but I mean in the OTAs.
I'll tell you what, if they can just get Odell Beckham to show up for OTAs, they'll be very happy no matter what.
That's a start.
I got your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing also is, as we all know, Freddie wasn't, he was so far in over his head, it was amazing. And one of the things he blew was picking assistant coaches, because again, getting back to the receivers, when your receivers don't know where to line up, you know, in game 16, towards the end of the season, that to me says it's bad coaching.
Yeah, and there were other instances of, the Arizona game jumps out at me, Bill, when the Cardinals score, go to a commercial break, have a kickoff, and the Browns get called for a delay of game on the first play after an opponent's touchdown. Those kinds of things, I think, if they were on the fence at all about Freddie Kitchens, and I'm not sure they were that late in the season, that would have pushed him over.
Yeah, I think that that whole thing with Dorsey is the old Paul Brown thing about firing the guy. I'm mad at the guy who hired you. I think the fact that Dorsey hired Kitchens told you all you needed to know.
I agree, and even though I was hoping Freddie was going to be the next Belichick and suddenly grow into the job, but he didn't. And then also Dorsey, and I know we used to say in Dorsey we trust. That was we would print it on our dollar bills.
Yep.
And but then when you realize his draft picks, he did a good job with Baker, I think. But his third round pick. I don't know about Ward still. I'm not sure if that was the right way to go. But with Corbett, I mean, he blew that, and so I think his drafting record was okay. He wasn't insanely great, And again, I know that the problem is a lot of coaches wouldn't come to Cleveland if Dorsey was there. I understand there was some of that going on. So,
all right, Bill. Bill, we got to move on. Hey, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it very much. Happy New Year to you. I started to get like Larry David. At what point do you not say Happy New Year?
I think after the 10th.
It's enough is enough already?
Yes, enough is enough.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at real-les-levine@gmail.com. I made a statement, or I thought this, and I told somebody that, and then I heard Dustin Fox actually say it, and that is that he didn't think anybody would have been swayed by what they heard, one way or the other, what they heard in the press conference today. Yeah,
I mean, I just think I think Browns fans are just numb to the whole coach search and press conference. I mean, for how many years then did we say, oh, this guy won the press conference? Oh, this is so exciting. There's nothing to be excited about until these guys get on the field and show that they, first of all, in the draft, show that they can draft well and that they can win games when they get on the field. And until then, there is something to be said for everybody being aligned, but we all know it's easy to be aligned from January through August. Because nothing's happened that really challenges you.
Absolutely right. Northeast Factory Direct, 4 great locations if you include the northeastfactorydirect.com. East and west and south. South, of course, in Macedonia, the new one on Freeway Drive. You've got the one at West 140th Street and Lakeland Boulevard, the old B&B Appliance. Northeast Factory Direct, you're going to save a lot of money. Alex saves it on the rent. You're going to pay half price or less than half price on just about everything in the stores. Check them out at all of those great locations, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. We'll talk about the coaching staff. Did you get an impression that maybe Steve Wilks would stay on?
Really gave no indication about that yet, and wanted to, I think, out of deference to the staff that's still there under contract, right, wanted to talk to those guys first.
Let's take a break. We'll come on back with Bud Shaw. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say, it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Naturestone.
Just because I'm not $1 million price doesn't mean I'm worthless. We middle prices get zero respect. We're worth hundreds, even thousands. I mean, I'm a handsome bag of money. And there's $110 million worth of us in the Ohio Lottery Cash Celebration scratch-off alone. Plus, the odds of winning are off the chart. 1 in 3.
Play the $30 cash celebration for a chance to win up to $1 million.
You see?
Oh, and lots of prizes between $100 and $1,000.
Everybody wants $1 million. Would $500 be so bad? Come on.
There are tastes we remember, Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
We are going to talk to every single coach that is there because there are some good coaches, obviously. So I want to make sure I sit down with everybody. Going to do that today and tomorrow and however many days it takes, and understand them as coaches, get a feel for them and that type of thing. So we'll do that first. And then we'll huddle up along with everybody and start to put some names together and put a list together and get started. But we're going to be very methodical about this. There's truly no rush to this. We want to get it right.
There's a talented young core, and you know, Odell-Beckham-Jr. and Jarvis-Landry and Kareem-Hunt and Nick-Chubb and Myles-Garrett and Denzel Ward, but we're used to seeing regime changes here and then roster turnover. I'm just wondering, what do you think of that, you know, young nucleus, and do you have a vision of moving forward with it, or could we see some of the changes that we've been used to seeing in the past with player personnel?
Well, I think every year, it's never the same 53 that come back year to year. So certainly we'll be looking to add and augment and get better at every position. But you mentioned those core guys, and those are some really good young football players. So that's where this job was so attractive to me, because not only do we have the right people in the building, we have the right players in the building. And we'll add to it. I don't dispute that. But you mentioned those guys, and those are some good players at multiple positions. So it's definitely somewhere that we have a really good start on this.
You know, for those of you who have been wondering where my beard went, it went to Stefanski.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of salt in that.
At 37 years old, that's a
little
little early.
You had a lot more.
216-575-0403. All right, so you're telling me, and I heard it, that Wade Phillips' name was brought up.
Yeah, you know, he's
about?
available. Obviously, he's, you know, had a great career as a defensive coordinator, not so much as a head coach, but he was a head coach for a little while. But Stefanski didn't want to discuss anybody from outside the building, I don't think, until he had a chance to talk to guys inside the building.
Do you think because of the lateness in him being named head coach that it will cause him to lose some people he might have? Maybe.
You know, there's still, it's not like there's other head coaches, though, that are out there now trying to fill staffs. I mean, they pretty much have gotten everybody that they want. So I think they're okay in that regard. I think the biggest question for him, Les, is whether he's not going to get. Gary-Kubiak worked with him this year in Minnesota, and by all accounts, including Stefanski's, you know, had a great influence on the offense this year. You know, Gary-Kubiak's probably not coming with him, but you would feel better about him if he had somebody like that who was here, sort of. I don't want to say Brad Childress, but somebody that, you know, has been through the Sunday afternoon deal and game prep and everything a lot more often than he has.
Wasn't Kubiak at one time thought of for the Browns?
I think he was. I've lost track of those
minutia,
those head coaching searches now as to when that was. Does that go back to Romeo Cornell? Does it go? You know, it's been a while.
I remember him turning it down, not being interested in it.
You know. So that's the question about first-time head coaches in this league is, you know, can they put a good staff together? And in his case, he's been in one city for his whole career. So has he crossed paths with enough different coaches to?
Yeah, is that a bad thing? Not a bad thing. Is that a mark on against his record that 18 years in the league, all with the one team, and he didn't become a coordinator till last year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a mark, but I think it did catch my attention. I realize he's only 37 years old, but until last year, he basically was a position coach who just bounced around and got a lot of experience coaching different position groups. It's not always the best or most predictable path to head coaching job.
Well, you can explore your interest and find a program that puts you on a path to a bright future from Tri-C, which offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu, find out more information. We'll come back. The most important thing is the head coach with the quarterback. We'll take a look at that, Baker-Mayfield, when we get back. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
I spoke to Baker briefly yesterday. He's down in Austin and caught up with him for just a minute, but he's the quarterback. He's the trigger man, and that's the exciting part for me. I've worked with a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of great ones over the years, and I'm looking forward to hunkering down with him and getting to work. And like any one of our players, when they walk in the building, we'll have a detailed plan for them about how they're going to improve. And Baker, as a young player, the sky's the limit, but we're going to put in the work to get it done with Baker. I'm still in the infancy of studying last year, and we'll identify some things as we get going, but certainly when you're talking about this job and this franchise and everything that goes with it, you think about the quarterback, and I think the sky's the limit for the kid.
Kevin, Steve Dorshak, Old Side. You go back to and through a lot of quarterbacks. Is it just coincidence that you work with a bunch of guys, or what can you take from having such a breadth of experience with so many different guys?
Yeah, I think it's terrific that I can pull from different experiences, and I know this, they come in all shapes and sizes. There's different styles. I will just tell you the skill set that our quarterback has is legit, and he's as accurate as they come. I think there's plenty of things that we'll do schematically to hopefully make life easier on him, and looking forward to the jump that this kid will take. I mean, he's such a young player, and the guys I've been around, when they put their mind to it and they start to grind on this thing and understand the whys in the concepts of that we're teaching, I really think this kid has a chance to take off.
You know, say what you want about Baker Mayfield. Point is, look how many different quarterback coaches or head coaches he's had.
Sure.
It's almost not fair.
Yeah. Well, the kid better not mind being called the kid, because that's what Stefanski kept referring him to.
Yeah. You think he knew his name?
Yeah, I do believe he knew his name. But no, it's a good point. I mean, he walks in with Hugh Jackson as his head coach, with Zampese as his
Right.
Ken Zampese as his quarterback coach. He
Freddie.
goes to Greg Williams for a brief amount of time to having Freddie as his offensive coordinator, Todd Haley as an offensive coordinator. Then we go to Monken, who we don't know what exactly he did, to Freddie, so, and a new Ryan Lindley, who was the quarterback coach last year. So I think with his personality, they need a quarterback coach in here who's proven a little something in the league, and isn't going to let him, decide that he's arrived already, because I think that's what it looked like last year. He thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was.
I think it was interesting, if you listen close, that Stefanski's saying, we're going to work hard, it's not like, here's the ball, you're the quarterback. We got some things to take care of before.
Yeah, and he's still betting on that accuracy that he saw as a rookie, because certainly I thought he was, and I've said it before, that I thought he was maybe the most accurate rookie quarterback I'd seen in a long, long time. Yet I wouldn't have used accuracy to describe him this past season. I thought he was high and wide, on too many throws.
Somebody had asked a question or two before, talking about some of the core players, and you name the core players. There's some talent right there.
Oh, absolutely, and they make a good point when they say that some of the, I think maybe DePodesta pointed it out today. Some of these guys are 26, 27 years old, and they're at the upper end of where the core players are.
You had an opportunity to be in there with DePodesta. What did you come away from with that?
Just that if they don't get this head coach right, I think it's a reflection not only on his process but on him, in that this is the guy he supposedly pushed for last year.
Right.
And was overruled. And in 2016, we're led to believe that he pushed for Sean McDermott, who's turned into be a pretty good coach with the Buffalo Bills, and was overruled. So he's going to have a GM. He's going to play part in who the GM is coming in here. He's setting up the process. The whole alignment is his baby. And if it doesn't work any better than what we've seen the last couple of years, I think you'll be seeing him leave Berea after a while.
What do you make of the reports that Jimmy-Haslam's demanding that he sit with him and make up and show him the game plans on Fridays?
Yeah.
Is that done anywhere in the league?
No, and Stefanski shot that down pretty adamantly. I mean, the report came out of Canton Repository, and I believe Dustin Fox at 92.3 had tweeted something similar. That so you start to put two and two together, and you wonder if this is what Josh McDaniels told his father, and that
because it came from Canton.
That it somehow got to the guys in Canton.
Yeah.
But Haslam shot that down too. Stefanski called it, wrong and silly season. But then when asked about Mondays and the head coach having to sit with Haslam and go over the game from Sunday, Haslam was very adamant that that's exactly what should be happening, and that if you're the owner of a team, you would want to be able to do that too with your head coach.
Yeah, but you wouldn't demand it before the game.
Not before the game, no. Not turn your play. By the time a playbook is or a game plan is put together by Friday, you don't have any more access to the players to go out and change anything. So I mean, that would seem silly to me.
No, unless he wants to sit up in the loge and just know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that DePodesta he just said that he felt the need to demystify the role of analytics in the Browns organization with these candidates, to make sure they understood that it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, in his opinion, including having a guy with a headset on Sundays during the game, talking to the coach about, hey, this is a situation where 83% of the time on 3rd and 6 at the 36-yard line, the opponent blitzes. All
right, so East Side Eddie writes in. He says, isn't what DePodesta does essentially what scouts have done for years? Recording that when the Bengals are 3rd and 5, they call a screen pass to the left 53% of the time, or that on 3rd and 6, the 49ers will usually blitz. Keeping the results on a spreadsheet doesn't make analytics anything more than what we used to call scouting. Fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think as it applies to the draft, I think they look at trends over the years of guys that have made it in the second round.
Right.
Where they came from, what physically, what they were, what they were gifted with, that kind of thing. To where when they get around to the third round and it comes down between the coaches liking this guy or this guy, they give that coach information. So he was clear today that what he feels that his job is to establish. He thinks it's such a total uncertainty about the business, from what's going to happen during the game.
Right, so they're giving more information.
To the draft, which is, we all know how unpredictable and uncertain that can be. And he's just trying to apply like a framework, a consistent framework that allows them to reduce the mistakes and the misses, whether it's on the football field or off the football field.
Northeast Factory Direct, 4 great locations, including the website northeastfactorydirect.com. West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, as well as Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Northeast Factory Direct, east, west, and to the south. All of it is going to save you money. Alex has started it over 20 years ago. Started it in with one piece of furniture in his garage in Lakewood. Look at the business he's turned into, one of the great classic business stories in the history of Northeast Ohio. 216-575-0403, the Sokolowski University Inn. They better move the Polish Athletes Hall of Fame that they have in the hallway and move it over so you can get Stefanski in there, right? He'll be there soon. That's probably what sold him on coming here to Cleveland, going to Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come back. We've got a Facebook question of the day. We'll take a look at some of your responses and more, and some quickies a little bit later. Bud is getting ready to grade them. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. January 14th, 1954, Marilyn Monroe marries Joe DiMaggio. That lasted 9 months. It did last longer than Joe's hitting streak, though.
9 months, that's forever, said Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra. I think theirs was 9 days.
1973, Miami Dolphins go undefeated in the regular season, and they continue on their winning ways, winning Super Bowl VII over the Washington Redskins. Let's take a look at Les history.
Hey, there's Les.
Kevin Stefanski decided to come to Cleveland when he realized that was the home of Sokolowski's University Inn.
There you go.
There's the selling point right there. Let's check out our Facebook question of the day. Our question of the day was, what are your early thoughts on the Kevin Stefanski hire? Let's take a look at some of the responses that we got. your early results or responses. Chris Ard says he seems like a smart guy who brings a simple but common sense approach to how he coaches. Certainly seems like he's absorbed a lot in his short time in the NFL. Hopefully Haslam will let him be himself, surround him with the people that he needs and wants, and just puts in a position to succeed. Doug Edwards says, not my first choice, but hey, I'm willing to give the guy a chance. I don't think he can do any worse than what Freddie did. So that's a positive. Larry Pantages, his dad played basketball at Penn for Coach Chuck Daly, so that counts as part of Kevin's coaching tree. I'm all in. And Ted Moon says, I'm all for giving the guy a chance. He's smart and has a direct approach to the coaching style. Out on a limb here, but I think he'll have the respect of some of the locker room. And how long is the question? If he wins, what will he do to maintain it? Right, Bud?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think Browns fans have every right to express their skepticism.
Yes.
None of us have any choice except that to give him a chance, right? He's going to get a chance. So.
Yeah, but I don't think
there's anything wrong with Cleveland fans at this point saying, you know what, call me when this works, because that's how people feel, and I don't blame them for feeling that. It's nothing specific to Kevin Stefanski.
Let's go to Devin, who's in Concord. Hello, Devin.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Devin? What do you think of Kevin Stefanski?
Oh, I'm a big fan. I'm happy. I really am. I'm very, very happy. I think the guy's as sharp as a tack. You know, him saying that he's going to give every player a detailed process of what they have to do to get better the first day they walk in, you know, is huge. And, you know, everyone says about winning the press conference. How did he win the press conference? You know, how he would have really won that press conference if he would have walked up there, Penn graduate, you know, Ivy League guy looking the way he did. Just came out there and said, "What the hell?" Come on, let that drop the room.
My first hiring for coach would be Les-Levine Clock Management.
Right? And but though I totally believe.
If you're not going to jump out of the plane, don't wear the parachute.
By the way, that's one of the great lines of all time. Okay, Devin, go ahead.
No, but I agree with you to get a veteran guy in there to kind of hold his hand, so to speak, through those game day nightmares that are going to occur if he has like a Kubiak or a Childress or.
Don't let him call. Don't let him call plays.
Yeah, I know. You know what's weird is how come if we would have hired a defensive coordinator like Salah or Schwartz, no one would have cared if they were calling defensive plays.
Right. Because nobody knows.
You ever notice that?
Yeah, nobody knows what a defensive play is anyway.
Yeah, I mean, no one would have known. And then, you know, I was looking back at the drafts. You know, everyone says how Sashi blew up the drafts and everything. So the first draft, he had 13 guys drafted. Out of those 13, only one's not in the NFL. And then the next year, he drafted 10. And out of those 10, only 2 aren't in the NFL. So you got 23, you got 20 still playing. That's not bad. You know what I mean? I mean, like Sean Coleman and, you know, Caleb Brantley, all these guys are still in the league playing. It's just, you know, they got washed out when they were here. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
no, that's a good point. You know, because they get washed out in some cases because of a regime change.
Yeah, exactly. So Dorsey comes in, not real football players type thing, and he wants to get rid of them, like Higgins and Njoku.
Yeah.
You know, and then you look at Nassib and Agba. Like, they have like 5.5, 6.5 sacks, respectively. I mean, we could have used that instead of having Olivier Vernon.
For sure.
You know, especially with their D-line. But what do you guys think? I know, listen, everyone's freaking out about McDaniels. And you know, I'll be honest with you, he basically came in with an ego, which probably didn't go over well. And he demanded things, which obviously didn't go over well.
Yeah, you only got one shot to do it.
Yeah, and so I understand what he wanted to do, but no one talks about how Carolina and the Giants didn't even bring him in. They brought in the receivers/special teams coach to New England instead.
Yeah, but you know who also they didn't bring in? Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, that's true.
And the other thing with
you're right.
Yeah, but they also the teams that passed him up might have believed that he was all in on Cleveland.
Yeah, which goes to show you how bad their intel was.
Yeah, it's a good point.
No, I think you make a good point. I think, but in if I look at it from his point of view, I probably would have asked for the same things, including an 8-year contract.
Hey,
so how much
Stefanski
is
got
the
5.
commissioner going to start investigating John Adams playing the drums out back there?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hey, tell me, listen, we all know the whole, what's the Bob Feller story,
Yeah.
you know? Was it true, was he giving autographs when he had the binoculars up there? Was he selling autographs back then, or
5,
no?
yeah, 2 for 5, one for 20.
Right? I mean, is that true?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy. I hate Houston. You know who's happiest is Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, for sure.
No question about
Hey,
it.
so how do you feel? Should they vacate that World Series championship? You didn't say.
Yeah, I think they should.
They should?
Yeah.
What do you think, Devin?
I mean, you know, you can't go back. It's like the Michigan Wolverines in college basketball. You know, I mean, all these things. I mean, how do you still won the thing on the field, you know? I mean, but I don't know. One thing, when you watch those replays and you heard that drum and the guy's hanging a curveball and he's blowing it 480 up the left field line, you know? I mean, that's what and then the other thing about the roids, when you guys are talking about the roids,
Yeah.
you know, I could take as many roids as I want, right?
You still can't hit it
I can't hit a Corey
500.
Kluber curveball.
No, me neither. All right, I got to go.
But you couldn't hit
All right,
one if
Devin.
you knew it was coming.
Yeah, you'd have a better chance.
No,
there.
Hargrove had the greatest line. He goes, the guys, he goes, I had warning track out. I had, 380 warning track outs, right? That could have been, if I took roids, that could have been 380 home runs.
There you go.
All right,
That's
have
true.
a great night.
That's true.
Thank you. Voicemail of Truth and Reason. You can get it anytime during the day. We're on from 6 to 7 live, 6 to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. But then if you can't get us then, anytime during the weekend or at night, 216-200-6650. Call us and leave us a message, and we'll put the better messages on the air in a future show. We're going to come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of January. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
We're going to change up a little bit. Tomorrow night, Dennis Gates, the new head basketball coach of Cleveland State, a very impressive young man. That'll be tomorrow night from 6 until 7. And that's what we'll do tomorrow. A little change up. Thursday night, D-Man will be here. Let's check out birthdays for today. Sonny Siebert threw a no-hitter for the Indians, seen on the left. Gene Washington. Analytics, 1947. Vincent Jackson, Eric Ibar, and David Nwaba, all born on the 14th of January. Time for a How Come Quickie. How come Jimmy Haslam has not asked Kevin Stefanski to meet with Les every Friday to go over clock management situations?
That's a great question.
It is a great question. First part is Jimmy Haslam to say, who's Les Levine?
Yeah.
All right, you ready to grade How Come Quickies?
Yeah, I suppose.
What do you mean, yeah, you suppose?
Well,
it's the highlight of the week.
The last time I did it, I was not I was not inspired by many of them to give out high grades.
It's on them?
Yes,
Whoop-de-doo.
absolutely. Yeah. It's whoop-de-hell, not
Whoop-de-hell. All right, Big Ed says, how come my daughter said she got an 8 out of 10 on her driving test until the examiner told her 2 of the guys got out of the way?
I didn't see it coming, but I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Does that part of the deal? If you don't see
Yeah,
it
it's
coming?
if I don't, I'm sure those 8 of 10 didn't see her coming. If I don't see the punchline coming, it's good.
Yeah. All right, how about this one? How about Toledo Mike? How come W.C. Fields said after the Prohibition Act, now I'll have nothing to live on but food and water?
All right, listen.
He tried too hard?
I'm going to downgrade it only because W.C. Fields, it's a really dated reference.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have a statue of him in my family room.
Do you really?
Yeah, and everybody says, "Who's that guy?"
Yeah, so there you know.
It's a good point. What do we have here? Got to get these in the proper order. Okay. Mr. Gullible. How come when my dog Minton ate my steak off the table, I yelled, "Bad, Minton, bad"? What do you got? 6.0.
I saw that coming.
How come I stayed up all night to see where the sun went and then it dawned on me? What do you got? Saving paper?
A little corny.
A little corny. John Patrick. How come I live at my work sounds more extreme than saying I work from home?
I don't usually give him low numbers, but I kind of stumbled over that one a little.
Got the same 6.0 there.
Yeah.
How come it was love at first sight until she took a second look?
It's 7.5. But that's not good for him.
That's a bad night.
Yeah.
And last night, I don't think he even sent one in. I think.
I mean, he
didn't send a note from like Epstein's mother. Speaking of old references,
he's the Mary Lou Retton of. There's another old reference.
Mary Lou Retton.
Or is he the Olga Corbett?
Mary Lou Retton was the best interview I ever had.
Does she say the same about you?
No, she has no idea who I am. She had no idea.
When did you have the occasion to interview
I was
Mary Lou
on
Retton?
radio station WERE 1300 People Power.
Mm-hmm.
She was hawking a book. Excuse me, she was in there to promote a book.
Yes.
And she could not have been nicer. She could not have been nicer. How about that? A week later, Barry Switzer came into the same studio, and he could have been nicer.
Was he selling a book too?
Yes.
Was he?
The
Bootlegger's Son or something?
Bootlegger's Son.
Yeah.
Now, he had a horrible life early on.
Yeah. But that's not your fault. he didn't need to.
I felt bad for him.
He didn't need to take it out on you.
And I read the book, and I figured he owed me at least to not. He was this far from me, as far as you are, and he was looking there the whole time.
Huh.
That led me to one of my first How Come Quickies. How come you can make an appearance on a radio show? It was at that moment I said, I think I've got something.
See,
here.
so Barry Switzer is responsible for this legendary.
I hope he's not outside, but he was a terrible interviewer.
Interviewee?
Interviewee. A terrible interview.
Yeah, period.
Yeah. He kept saying, whoop-de-hell.
Well, I tell people this, and they think there's got to be something wrong with me, but the worst interview I ever had was with Kenny Lofton. He stared at his shoes the whole time I was asking him questions.
Was it an in-depth thing, or was it about a specific...
It was about him leading the league in stolen bases. It was a positive story.
I see that
and
Gary Sheffield...
I finally stopped after three or four questions and just said that I'm done. And he goes, "What do you mean you're done?" I said, obviously you don't want to answer any questions. And he's like, "Well, you guys always try to put words in my mouth." This was his rookie year. I think he was distrustful of the media at that time. So
meanwhile,
I'm sure he got better.
Gary Sheffield seems to be getting some run, as they say, for the Hall of Fame. Do you think he belongs over Kenny Lofton? See, Gary Sheffield, to me, when he played third base for
Miami?
No, for Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He admitted that he made an error on purpose. He threw it up into the. He was playing third base or shortstop, and he threw the ball into the stands, and it was on purpose, and I don't know why. That's sort of like throwing a game, isn't it?
So you would.
I would have banned him from baseball.
Unless you think he did it to throw a game, I think you'd have to know why he did it.
Well, why would you do it? Just throw the ball in the stands?
He didn't like the guy who was heckling him. Maybe, I don't know.
He could have had the guy out easily at first if he just threw it there.
It's a 10-1 game, and somebody's heckling me. I'm aiming for him.
You, the guy, you, the guy who gave up back-to-back homers to identical twins.
Yeah,
on
but here's the thing:
2 pitches.
I could have hit the guy. Accuracy wasn't my issue, but he wouldn't have felt it. So, when you have that 52-mile-an-hour fastball, that's
does that qualify as being a fastball?
Yeah,
a 52-mile-an-hour ball, maybe.
Probably not.
All right, that'll do it. We are done. I'm told. I just told myself we are done. Thanks to Bud Shaw. You can catch him on WKYC.com. Tomorrow night, Dennis Gates, Cleveland State basketball coach, the D-man Dennis Maniloff on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.